How is it going, everyone? And in an era of games shutting down, games not being on the disc, no physical game release, we gotta take every W that we can when it comes to wins on the physical gaming front, and we've got 2 Ws to go over in this video. Both of these games have ties to Xbox, so, Xbox as far as their publishing goes, and one of them isn't an Xbox published game, but we have seen a lot of the Microsoft published games not have the content on the disc or not even get physical releases. 2 games coming out are going to have physical game releases, so that's great. After that, want to talk a free game update that is dropping for a more underrated game of 2025. We'll talk that, and I'm not going to talk about Ghosts of Yōtei in depth as far as the gameplay we saw. It looks outstanding. Go check out the 20-minute gameplay video for yourself on PlayStation's channel, but it looks outstanding. But I do want to give you guys a heads up on the limited edition PlayStation 5 bundles and accessories coming for those of you that do want that. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But right off the bat, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is completely on disc. There was a user on Reddit that noted that doesn't seem to be the case. They just received the game and can confirm there's 45 gigabytes on the disc, so that is phenomenal, especially with the recent release of Doom: The Dark Ages, which I just thought was outrageous. And then, of course, we had Indiana Jones and the Great Circle also require a download. Whenever we get a W like this, that the content is available on the disc, well, we're gonna sing the praises, and you could be like, hey, why are we celebrating this? This should be the standard in gaming. Well, guess what? It hasn't been the standard in gaming. So, we're taking this W when we can get it, especially it being a Microsoft published game, Activision owned by Microsoft. You get the idea. I've been playing a lot of Pro Skater 1 and 2 recently. It's just another one of those late night podcast games for me, and man, what a great time that game is. Excited to delve into Pro Skater 3 and 4. Probably won't get into it right away, but good thing as far as those of you wanting a physical copy of the game, you will be having the 45 gigabytes on disc. On top of that, it looks like the upcoming release of Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl will be getting a physical release, as a GameFly listing is already live. Now, what that actually means in the grander scheme of the content available on the disc, we don't know yet, but given the fact this is a delayed release on PlayStation 5, I could have easily seen it being a digital-only release. Thankfully, that is not going to be the case, at least by the looks of it, given that GameFly would have insight on whether or not they're getting a copy of the game, and they're already letting people add it to their wish list, I believe, and they have it listed, so it looks like Stalker 2 will be getting a physical release. Now, we'll see about the content that's available on the disc. Hopefully, you'll have a sizable amount of it, or the entire game. The entire game on disc would be ideal, and the entire game at a playable state on disc would be ideal. And literally, as I'm recording this video, more listings of Stalker 2 have gone live for the physical copy of the game. And unfortunately, while it is getting a physical release, you will still require an internet connection to get all of the content. So this is one of the ones that's a bummer. Stalker 2 is one that I think we should have seen coming, as far as it not being in a playable state, just because I don't even know why we should see it coming. It's just one that I just feel it's in line with the idea of internet connections being required, especially with how many patches and whatnot. Like, you're gonna want to connect the game to the internet to get the patches and whatnot, because I'm telling you guys, it is not gonna be refined right out the gate, even with a 1-year delay. Like, this is one of those games they're gonna patch for a while, but you would hope that, especially with a 1-year delay, that the game with the patches would be shipped on PlayStation 5 with the PS5 Pro enhancement. But as far as Stalker 2 is concerned, we can't have nice things. So a bit of a good and a bad as far as the physical gaming update is concerned. At least it's getting a physical release, but man, it sucks. For a $60 game like this, at least it's not $70, but for a $60 game like this, you would still hope that the content would be available on disc, but it is what it is. When you can push back on certain things like Doom: The Dark Ages, I don't know how that game did commercially, but I feel like it didn't do all that well based on the publicly available data that we have to assess. And I'm not wishing for the Indiana Joneses of the world, the Doom: The Dark Ages of the world to not do well, but those games' physical releases were nonsense, and the game keycards are nonsense as well, and I don't think ultimately we are going to escape the reality that is coming with the era of game keycards, with the era of the content not being available on the disc. But if we can appreciate the physical game releases, if we can show love to the games that are coming out that aren't game keycards, with games like Cyberpunk doing really well on the Switch too, and, show love to games that are having content on the disc. Not even like, obviously you can't update the game readily on disc, so, you know, if you want the most new version of the game, so to speak, after all the patches and whatnot, you'll always need an online connection, but the game should be playable start to finish with the content on disc, unless it's an online-only game or whatever the case may be. But yeah, all of that, stop killing games, you guys get the idea at this point, so good stuff as far as that's concerned. All right, moving on from that, I do want to give you guys a heads up on Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree. Update 1.6 is here, and New Game Plus is now available in the game as well. Mandragora was a really, really well-received game and has a very, very slick art style, awesome from a visual presentation standpoint. Totally gives me vibes of a Vanillaware game, and I know I say that comparison a lot. There are games out there like Sakuna of Rice and Ruin that gives me a total vibes of a Vanillaware game, but this really gives me vibes of a Vanillaware game. A story-driven 2.5D action RPG where mankind has surrendered the world to the monsters. In a world overturned, people hide away behind walls of brick and palisades of ignorance constructed by their leaders. Joy and delight are coveted jewels out of reach of the masses. This is not the world you were promised. Travel by night and take it back. Journey through a world in decline, slowly falling prey to the damaging effects of entropy. Challenge deadly bosses, meet new allies, enemies, and every shade in between, and make harsh moral choices as well. 2D action RPG here, and now it does have its latest update. Update 1.6 and New Game Plus. A trailer for that has dropped. And lastly, I mean, everybody was talking about Ghosts of Yōtei. I don't need to do videos selling you on the game, although I'll talk more about it as we get closer to the release and we'll go over the information regarding the game. That 20-minute gameplay video was blow away. I do want to stay a little bit in the dark, you guys. Like, bro, they don't gotta sell me on Ghosts of Yōtei. Y'all don't gotta sell me on a Sucker Punch game. Yes, was I don't want to even say critical. Am I upset personally that Jin isn't the main character? Yes, because I think Jin's story has a lot more to tell. Does this game look outstanding? Absolutely. Has Sucker Punch given me any reason to doubt them at this point? Absolutely not. They are not a Rocksteady. They are not a BioWare. They've only offered me banger game after banger game since I was literally like 7 years old playing their games. Sly Cooper, Sly 2, Sly 3, Infamous 1, Infamous 2, Infamous Second Son, Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know how many studios I can look at and say that I've played literally every single one of their games and loved every single one of them, but Sucker Punch is exactly that. Even like the infamous Festival of Bloods out there, like I thought that was a pretty decent, smaller scale downloadable game. Infamous First Light, all of their games have been great, and now some of them have been truly masterclass, and I would put Ghost of Tsushima in the truly masterclass category, and Yōtei is shaping up to be exactly that. And on top of that, if your wallet needs any more of a beating, they have announced a limited edition PlayStation 5 console bundles and accessories. They do know product availability varies by region and retailer. Man, this is one of the best looking controllers in particular, a custom controller, and some of the custom controllers I'm not crazy about. The Yōtei custom controller, Chef's Kiss, looks absolutely phenomenal, and hopefully that is sold standalone because I think that's going to be flying off the shelves, and I don't really want to buy another PS5. Look, I got the Pro. I'm not trying to buy a PlayStation 5 just for the Ghost of Yōtei design, but it looks awesome. One of the best custom consoles I've seen. A bit of a bummer that it's 5 years into the generation that, you know, if you want that console, are we really looking to be buying a base PS5 at this point? I don't know, but the console looks incredible, and hopefully that turns out to be stellar. PlayStation may end up the year as far as console exclusives go. Death Stranding 2 was a PlayStation published game, not a first-party game, but Death Stranding 2, Yōtei, a 1-2 punch for Game of the Year, coming off the heels of 2024 being Game of the Year, at least by the Video Game Awards. I mean, it's a pretty good place to be at from PlayStation. Even when I look at them, their first-party output has been rather weak when their first party's at the level. And again, Death Stranding 2 is a second-party game, so to speak. But, you know, if they can drop a killer game with Yōtei, and it looks to be one of the PlayStation 5's few killer apps in terms of truly masterful games. I mean, Spider-Man 2's out there are the Returnals, the Ratchet Rift Aparts, but man, Yōtei is something that it would have been great if we got this around like 2024, 2023, 2022 to be a real key killer app and not a cross-gen game, but this looks to be accentuating the entire power of the PlayStation 5. It looks absolutely phenomenal. But that'll do it for me. Again, I feel like this is a big W with Pro Skater 3 and 4, that having all the content on the disc, or at least the majority of the content on the disc. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree, update 1.6, adding New Game Plus, and man, that Ghost of Yōtei, the limited edition accessories, console, all that looks phenomenal. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.